afternoon, everyone. Good morning for the people from the other side of the wall. I'm Laura Fuster, and I'm here with my colleagues from Lexity, Diana Andrade, who is in our office in Portugal, now in the Lisbon office, and with Maria, who is in the office in Athens. And we are here today to discuss about the digital nomad visa and its options in the different countries, in our different countries. And to explain you our experience, what we have to do if we are digital nomads, and if we want to start this procedure of becoming a digital nomad outside our country. And here I would ask, for example, Diana, what should we do if I was a digital nomad and wanted to move from my country of origin? Let's say if I was a US citizen living in New York and I wanted to move to Portugal or to Greece or Spain as a digital nomad, what should I do?
First, choose the country that the person would like to live for some years. So I would like to say that Portugal will be a very one of the best places to live, but could be also Spain and Greece. But yes, definitely we need to see the rules of each country and understand the most feasible for the applicant, of course.
Okay, that's perfect. So then I'm sure that Maria, you're receiving as well a lot of consultations already from people that just calling the office or just sending emails like they are a little bit lost. Maybe some of people here that are with us also are like, what's the first thing I should do, right? So maybe it's having this first consultation, and with a legal expert and that has experience with that, and starting collecting the different documents, because of course we are familiarized, as we are lawyers in the immigration field, we are familiarized with this kind of documents, but people that are not lawyers and that decided not to study this field, which can be boring sometimes, we can understand that we would need this support, right?
Exactly, and I will say that especially for Greece, that we have a lot of bureaucracy, that things sometimes can become very complex, and some people are struggling with that, and it's better from the start to have a contact with a legal consultant, an expert, in order to make sure that everything will go correct so you do not to have any unpleasant surprise, like to appeal against the consulate's decision and that stuff, because then you will stuck in the bureaucracy of Greece, unfortunately. And this is
perfect. Thank you.
Worst part.
Yeah, thank you for these tips, because that are really necessary when we're talking about the administration and we do not know how they can react, right? So after this, of course, we have to decide where we want to go, and here we can explain you a little bit about the different options you can find and the reasons why you should move to our different our different cities, and of course, and why you should choose Spain, Portugal, or Greece. Of course, these cities, these countries, can would open your chances to be near any EU country, and as we know, a lot of digital nomads want to be able to travel to be near these different EU countries, and to be able to travel and know the culture of different EU countries, because with the digital nomad you are able to travel 90 days out of every 180 days through the Schengen area once you have obtained this residence permit for one of our countries. And of course, there are from Spain, for example, there are good connections to other countries from different airports. And or a lot of you may know, of course, in Spain, I'm talking about my country, so I will tell you that in Spain we have a super nice lifestyle. When we're talking about the weather, the food, the culture, we have a lot of festivals. But now that it's July, we have now a lot of things that are happening here, and it's super nice to be living in this country with these young digital nomads, and not that so young, and with different nationalities and cultures that we have here, and to enjoy this environment, right? And also, of course, there's an excellent educational system, and I can tell you that according to my experience with digital nomad applications, we have had a lot of families wanting to relocate to Spain with their children, also because of that, to give their children this opportunity to receive this education here in Spain. Then when talking about the requirements of the digital nomads in procedure in Spain, I will just explain you a little bit the main requirements. As you know, well, some of you may know, in order to become a digital nomad in Spain, the most important thing is to accredit that you have had a professional relationship or employment relationship with your employer or client settled outside of Spain for at least 3 months, to accredit that this work can be done remotely. Okay, and also you have to accredit that you have a university title, or that you are a qualified employee, and with a university title or with 3 years of experience, you can also accredit the experience, the professional experience of 3 years. And also, you cannot have criminal recourse in the countries where you have resided in the last 2 months. Then another thing that you have to prove is that your client or employer, depending in case you are applying as an employee or as a freelancer, it will be a client or an employer, has had real activity for at least 1 year. Okay, it's one of the requirements that the Spanish administration has here. And then in terms of documentation, of course, here you can find a list. It's since the law was published, we have been able to have more details about the documents required, and also with our experience. So now we are. Let's say that we know the perfect application, how the perfect application has to be, and we are more than comfortable with that. And here you can see the list of the documents, but of course we can explain you in detail in a further conversation after this webinar if you are interested. So then I will leave Diana to explain us more in detail the procedure for Portugal, just to make a little introduction, because then after these introductions we will have a little comparison between countries.
Thank you, Laura. So it's a pleasure to be here and talk a little bit more about digital nomad visa and residence permit to Portugal. Portugal is one of the best ranking countries to live and work remotely. We are always in the top of the rankings, and international rankings, with one of the best country to work remotely, and also not only to work, but one of the safest countries in the world. Of course, we have great weather. actually, we have everything. We have a good winter, and if we go to the center, a little bit warmer, and in the south, you have the hot weather. So you can choose, and you just need to travel from the north to south of the country and enjoy the four stations of the at the same time, actually. So a part of this, we have a very attractive tax regime. It's the non-habitual resident regime, and it's for the people who want to come to Portugal, and the applicants can apply and benefit of 10 years of this regime. Well, we here in Europe, we are very well connected in terms of the cost of living. Seems that we are in the middle in the most part of the cases, so it's also a good choice to relocate and to enjoy the entertainment, historical attraction, and have fun in our country. Regarding to the requirements, as Laura did, I will explain well the essential requirements for the digital nomad visa, and we also have the documentation as we did for Spain. But in terms of requirements, I think the first requirement is to be a citizen outside of Europe. So for people that, for example, US, Canada, Turkey, well, around the world without being European citizen. And then this is the main requirements for all the visas and residence permit in Portugal. Regarding to the digital nomad visa, I think it's important to mention and highlight that we need to prove first the relationship with a company or with I'm sorry. I don't know. I think I can.
Yeah.
Yes, it's some error. I don't know. So as I'm saying that the most important requirement is to able to work remotely with contract employment, for example, or being a freelancer. But you can prove that you earn income with your salary, active income, not passive income. This is very important to mention because in the past we only have the D7 visa, and at this moment D7 visa is only for the passive income and not for active income. So we should apply for the digital nomad visa if we have active income. And now we have a finance requirement for this kind of visa, which is 4 times the minimum salary in Portugal. At this moment, the minimum salary in Portugal is 760 euros. So the total amount that we need to demonstrate is 3,040 euros in average for the last 3 months. So we are now, we know better what the law wanted to apply at these cases. It was not easy, but in fact, you don't need to earn this amount per month. We just need to prove that the last 3 months before the application, in average, you earn the 4 times the minimum salary in Portugal.
And just sorry to interrupt here, Diana, because and this amount of money, just to be clear, how much is it in Portugal? You mentioned monthly, the average monthly income that you need to accredit.
This is not a monthly requirement, so the last 3 months before the application, we need to prove at least 3,040 euros per month, 4 times the minimum salary in Portugal.
And this is for the main applicant.
Main applicant, correct.
Yeah, because here I just wanted to say here that in Spain, for example, for the main applicant, it's not the 3,000. No, it's the they require a monthly salary for the main applicant of at least 2,160 euros. It's a little bit less, and I'm sure that in Greece, Maria will explain that to us, because afterwards we can compare the different salaries between the 3 countries.
Yes.
Okay. So, here we have the documentation as well for the Portuguese one that I was checking before. So it's as well that will be compared as well afterwards regarding the health insurance, because it's another problematic thing in Spain that needs a special treatment. So perfect. Yeah, thank you, Dee. I don't know if you have more to add here in the Portuguese procedure.
No, I think that I mentioned the main requirement, for this kind of visa, and of course we are fully available to speak later afterwards after our webinar and discuss. In particular, and some specific situations, of course.
Perfect. I just wanted to add here that I'm seeing the questions that people are sending. I'm just checking them. Don't worry, they will be answered. So you don't have to worry. I just wanted to have this initial presentation of the main requirements. So let Maria. We will let Maria add the Greek part only for the main presentation. You can add, Maria, the main requirements for Greece, and then we can start the discussion and comparison between the 3 countries. Okay, so Maria, go ahead. You can explain us how beautiful and wonderful is your country, because I've never been there actually. I hope I can come, surely. And of course, I have to work with you in the office. So go ahead, please.
We will be more than happy to have you in Greece, I have to say, Laura. And even if Barcelona, I loved it when I came, I missed the Greek food, guys. I think that the most beautiful, the best, basically, cuisine is the Greek. That's why, for me, one reason for someone to come in Greece is not only the beautiful islands that we have. We have even a volcano in an island, Milos, and whoever wants, he can check about that. Milos is a wonderful Greek island with volcano. Okay, about the weather, what to say? We have like all the time sun here. But also our food is incredible. I missed our Mediterranean cuisine when I left from Greece, and our culture, of course. We have so rich history that someone, I think he should come to Greece to visit in order to learn about some things about our nation, and to explore not only the islands or the Athens, but also the mainland, which isn't cheaper and more beautiful, I have to say. We have forests. We combine the sea and the more wild landscape. Okay, we don't have sea for surf like Diana, I think you have in Portugal. There, I think you do surfing. In Portugal, here we don't do that, but we have other things to explore, rainwaters and so many nice things. So for me, it is like an absolutely yes for Greece. You shouldn't even think about it, especially for summer. Now I'll try to explain to you a bit the requirements, so you to have an idea. When someone wants to apply for the Digital Nomad Greece, he has to mention to us one of the three main types of category, let's say. If he is freelancer, if he is employer, or he has his own business company. We have only to prove to Greece that we have a monthly stable income of 3,500 euros. Okay, our requirements are a bit more stricter than Portugal, but still it works. We will need some bank statements in order to make sure that there is this inflow every month. And the amount will be increased if you have a family member. For family member as wife, the percent is 20 plus 20. For the child, plus 15%. Once we will make sure that someone is eligible, then the things are very easy. We can submit immediately the file in Greece once you enter Greece, because we will need the stamp of your passport and also to sign some declarations. The same day that we submit the file in Greece, you receive a temporary residence permit, which gives you the right to stay, to reside in Greece and enjoy, go wherever you want to explore our mainland and our islands. And then we have a notification by the Ministry of Immigration that it's time for the biometrics and for the plastic residence card, which is the permanent one, and gives you the right to stay for 2 years. So it's a bit very straightforward, the procedure. We will need a criminal record if you want to pass by the consulate to obtain a residence, the visa basically first. Here, just a note for some holders of a USA or Australian or UK passport, they can just skip the consulate and come directly to Greece and apply here. This is the best part, I think, for Greece, for the Nomad, because you don't have to arrange appointments before the consulate. And also, if someone has a touristic visa for Greece, instead of leaving, he could just stay here and together prepare the file in order to apply directly from Greece and become like a long-term tourist, I would say. You see that we will need health insurance. We need to be aware about the professional status in order to collect the required documentation. The bank statements in Greece are for we need the last 6 months, not 3, as it happens in Portugal. We're a bit stricter, I have to say. And yes, it's very easy. You don't have to worry. And that's why we're here next year in order to make this relocation as smooth as possible.
Okay, I'm seeing, thank you very much, Maria. That was, I think that in Greece, it's being very straightforward, the procedure. Also, while in Portugal, I've seen that as well. And here in Spain, little by little, the administration is helping us. But I'm seeing a lot of questions that don't worry, they will be answered during the webinar, because most of them are very common and we've seen them a lot. So Maria was also mentioning that you can apply while being in Greece with the visa, right? With the tourist visa. That happens as well while being in Spain. If you are with a tourist visa or with any other stay authorization, you can apply directly for the 3 years residence permit as a digital nomad, and you present the application online from Spain. I think that someone asked that, so I'm answering now this question. But you can also apply at the consulate for the visa for 1 year, and then enter Spain and apply for this 3-year residence permit. So we have different options here of application in the different countries, okay? And also, as you can see in this comparison that we are doing here, the length of the residence permits are also different in the different countries, right? And in Portugal, it's a little bit more special, right? Because you can, well, if you want to explain to us, Diana, this manifestation of interest,
Yes, it's a process that we can apply directly in Portugal. Unfortunately, could take some time to have a conclusion. So if you are able to stay in the country and waiting for the residence permit to be issued, could be a good option. Otherwise, we believe that the best option will be apply directly at the consulate.
In the consulate, yeah. And here is the next slide where we explain the procedure when applying from the consulate, right? From in Spain. So you obtain a 1-year visa and then you enter Spain and apply for the 3 years, as I mentioned before. In Greece, it's one year visa at the consulate and then 2 years from Greece. And in Portugal, the visa in this case that you obtain at the consulate is for 4 months, and then the residence permit applied in Portugal, in SEF, as a lot of people may already know, it's for 2 years, right? Okay, perfect. So, of course, after that, we have the renewals. Here you can see the length of each renewal, the period of each renewal. The Portugal is the longest one. And here is a curious question that we can have that some people may ask themselves, which is that the benefits that each one of the residence permits, digital nomads visa can bring you, right? The thing is that in Greece, for example, Maria, correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand that you cannot work physically in Greece while you are physically in Greece, right? With the digital nomad visa, you can also only work for your clients or employers that are established outside Greece.
Exactly. You're not allowed here to provide your services to Greeks, basically. And even if it's a bit weird, believe me, it makes the things much easier for you regarding the taxation. So this is a good trick, I would say, for Greece.
Okay, we will talk about taxation afterwards because I've seen that a lot of people is interested, of course. And don't worry, we'll clarify the doubts here. Even if we are not the tax experts in Lexity, but we, of course, have knowledge around that. So regarding Spain, of course, the digital nomads need to work for their clients and employees that are established abroad, but only for the freelancers, the digital nomads that apply for the residence permit as freelancers, they will be able to perform maximum 20% of their work for clients in Spain. Okay, the rest has to be all for outside of Spain. And then in Portugal, you can work, right, Diana?
The main applicant and the family members, they are allowed to work, and it's a good option because in the meantime, when we have the residence permit, maybe we can change the object afterward because some people find a new opportunity, and it's good to have. So it's good.
Okay, perfect. So, and another question that we were having here in the chat, it was about the family members. In Spain, what I can tell you is that, of course, the family members can apply for the residence permit as accompanying member, as accompanying family members of the main applicant. Of course, creating the family relationship, and in this case, the family members will obtain a residence and work permit, so they will be able to work in Spain. So, if you can show us, Diana and Maria, how are the things in your country?
Diana, do you want?
Whoever wants to start. Maybe Maria.
Of course. So, because right now I sent the first question about Greece. You're not allowed to work in Greece as digital nomad. Either you have the visa or the permit. I just mentioned it in order to clarify that. The family members also, they're not allowed, and the family members are dependent on the main applicant always. So whatever it happens to the main applicant, just remember that it will have consequences to the family members also. If it's expired, the main applicant's permit, it will be for the family members too. So did I miss anything else that you wanted me to clarify?
No, this is
Sarah, do you
perfect.
think? Great.
I think, well, they were asking for the status of the family members. I think that you have covered this question, so it's good. And in terms of the work permits, Diana, in Portugal for the family members?
So they are allowed to work as well as the main applicant. They will have, they can apply at the same time, and they will have the visa for accompanying member family, and then the residence permit as a family member as well. And all of them can work here in Portugal. They are allowed to work. So of course we need to prove some. One of the requirements, the general requirements, will be, in fact, the proof of subsistence for 1 year in Portugal, and we need to prove also for the family members. But this is one of the requirements as well, but it's possible to work, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, girls. And let's move to the next question. Well, here the employment requirements, we have already talked about this, the relationship with the client and employer, and the activity that the client and employer have to have. Here you can see the differences in the countries. So we can go to the next slide. Here, important, you can have here just for you to know, because some people were asking as well for the minimum requirements for the economic means. As you can see in the different countries, there are differences for the minimum the minimum amount required for if you are the main applicant or the first accompanying family member or the rest of the accompanying family members. Here you can see the amounts for each country. Okay, they are fixed amounts established based on the indicators of this 2023. So they will be changing in next year. And of course, as you can see, the Greece is the more expensive one, or more or strict one in this sense. But you can compare here the amounts, and of course you will have this presentation shared, so you can have the information. Some people was asking, I take this advantage about if the administration was accepting, for example, if you are receiving a salary, a fixed salary plus a bonus. If this bonus would be counted by the administration as part of this minimum amount required. In Spain, what we know is that, of course, you have to know that first of all, they look case by case, since it's there's no it's a new residence permit, so. What they say is in Spain, of course, they will check the invoices or the payslips that you receive, and that additionally you can also accredit the economic means with other documents that they will assess case by case separately. And regarding the bonuses, initially they won't take into account the bonuses unless you can show that these bonuses will be fixed bonuses. So there's a way to prepare the applications in a way that, of course, being complying with the requirements, right, and the employment relationship. But in case that was a fixed bonus that the worker received and could be described as such, that could be counted as the monthly amount for the minimum salary required. So these are things that it's good to have an expert to consult, because we have this experience and we have access to this type of consultations directly with the administrations. Okay. We will go to the next issue, which is here in Spain. It's a little bit complicated to treat, and a lot of you have been asking in the chat about health insurance. So Maria Liliana, if you let me these few minutes to talk about the health insurance requirement in Spain, because it's a little bit confusing, and we are facing some problems with the digital nomads that want to come to Spain from the US, for example. I'm sure that we have a lot of US citizens here, and they are super interested in this question. If they want to come as employees of a US employer, for example, because in this case, the requirement is that they need to present a certificate of, here we have to initially separate if they come from a country that has a bilateral agreement with Spain in terms of social security or not. If they have a bilateral agreement with Spain in terms of social security, what is required is to present a certificate of coverage of the social security and a private health insurance. This if they come as employees. What's happening with the US citizen? Someone was asking now, and other countries' citizens as well, that these countries are not issuing this certificate of coverage because these countries do not issue this kind of certificate for digital nomads. And we are facing these problems because the Spanish administration is not approving this kind of applications when it comes from employees from these kind of countries that are not issuing the certificate of coverage. But you don't have to worry about that. There are solutions here, okay? We have solutions, there are alternatives, and this is the nice thing of immigration law, and that's why you have here 3 people working in this field, because we love how we can manage to find solutions for anyone who wants to relocate to our amazing countries. So in these cases, I will talk about these solutions, but you have to know that the countries that are indeed issuing this certificate of coverage are the UK and Russia, for example, just in case we have these nationalities within the public. And for the other countries, if we cannot obtain this kind of certificate, the solution would, if you are an employee, would be for the employer to register with the Spanish Social Security. Lexity can also assist you with this procedure and commit to register the employee with the Spanish Social Security as well in case of an approval, okay? And another option is directly to apply for the digital nomad as a freelancer. Because in this case, if you apply as a freelancer, what you will need to do is, in terms of Social Security, will be to present a letter committing to register with the Spanish Social Security as a freelancer and pay the corresponding Social Security quotes. So a tip for this kind of application in Spain would be to apply as a freelancer, which will help you with to overcome this burden of the certificate of coverage. I don't know if Diana or Maria, do you have any something to discuss about the health insurance requirement, something to add in your cases?
So,
Diana.
No, go ahead, Maria. Go ahead.
About Greece, I would say that, okay, for the digital nomad visa that is issued by the consulate, you need the travel insurance. But for the residence permit that it is issued by the Greek state, you need a health insurance. It is better not to have a global one because the ministry has specific requirements and wants specific coverage package, let's say. And it is very easy someone to be rejected his application because of the global health insurance if it doesn't meet the basic requirements. But that's why we're here, in order to assist you, and we can always bring you in contact with our collaborators and be that easy peasy, basically.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria.
So
Okay.
regarding to the travel, the health insurance, in fact, in Portugal, it's the same as Greece. So at the consulate, we need to present a travel insurance. In Portugal, a health insurance could be an health insurance from a global company, but needs to be applied in Portugal. So that the applicant can use it in Portugal effectively. So it's important to mention that, because sometimes we can have a health insurance, but it's not valid in Portugal, and the authorities, they don't accept these documents, and we need to be assured that this requirement will be fulfilled, of course.
Sí, exactly.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm here. Well, we have some tips for the application. I already mentioned that about applying from Spain. It's better to avoid consulates because each consulate can have their own criteria, and then what we discussed about the certificate of coverage in the UK and Russia. And answering some of someone's question is that yeah, you can apply if you own a company. You can apply for the digital nomad as an owner of a company. We have had success cases in this regard. At the beginning, the administration was mentioning that you had to accredit that you had a client that was a company. In order to be able to apply as a freelancer, not that you were the owner of the company, but now we have had success cases when the digital nomad is the owner of the company and has at least the 51% of the participation of the company, right? Of the ownership of the company. Of course, there are another tips in case of Greece, which is also skipping the consulate as well. We, as you can see, we prefer to apply directly from our own countries because as we know better the administration from that handles these applications from the country. And it's easier to handle applications when you know when you know what they are expecting to see, because we can know the requirements, but then each consulate can have their requirements. If you have gone through any immigration procedure already, you will know what I'm talking about already. And then we have here also the tips from Portugal. That as well we have already discussed about this. I wanted to go to some of the questions that we are having. Well, here we have also some interesting questions about France and Italy, because LexCD also covers the jurisdiction in France and Italy. And for the moment, you have to know, I'm sorry, we are still waiting for the new laws to have the digital nomads in Italy and France. Italy is closer to that than France, but still waiting for it. Okay, and then I wanted to focus as well in the tax matters, because I know that everyone is waiting for that. And some of you were asking if you have to become a tax resident in these three countries if you apply for the digital nomad. I can start if you want, girls. In case of Spain, it's not that you have to become a tax resident in the country. That the only thing is that in order to maintain and renew the digital nomad visa, you cannot be outside Spain for more than 6 months per year. And in terms of tax matters, you become a tax resident in Spain in case you stay in Spain at least or more than 183 days per natural year. This is from January 1st till December 31st. And then you need to pay taxes from your worldwide income in Spain. But of course, for these digital nomads, and this is the question that everyone is awaiting, the well-known Beckham law, right? This tax benefit in Spain, which of course, it's not the only tax benefit you will find here, because of course Greece and Portugal can offer nice, the tax implications in Greece and Portugal can be super attractive. But in case of Spain, if you apply for the digital nomad as an employee, you are able to apply for the Beckham law, which means that I think that we had the question here, but at least, which means here that that you can apply, that your worldwide employment income will be taxed at a fixed rate of 24% for the first 600,000 euros and 27% for higher incomes, and that your investments will be taxed from 19% to 28%. This is in case you are applying for the digital nomad visa as an employee, and that then you will be able to apply for this Beckham law. This doesn't mean that it's automatic. Some of you already asked if that was automatic. Applying for the digital nomad visa, you get the Beckham law automatically. This is not the procedure. You have to apply for it. And actually, we're still waiting for some regulations from the government in order to be able to start applying for this Beckham law for the employees. And in case of the freelancers, you can apply for the Beckham law only if certain requirements are met, which are also regulated by the new law, and we are still waiting for the development of this new law to have more information. Of course, as I mentioned, we have tax experts here in the firm that can perfectly inform you in great detail about the tax implications of the digital nomad visa application. But in general terms, these are the ones in Spain. But I will pass the word to Diana now, so that she can explain a little bit the tax implications in Portugal in these general terms.
Okay, thank you, Laura. So in Portugal, we have a very attractive regime, non-habitual resident regime. For example, a digital nomad applicant can apply as well for this regime. We need to make sure here some tips that will be.
I don't know if.
Can you hear me, Laura?
Yeah. I'm here. I lost you for a moment. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's the connection. I'm sorry. I'm saying that in Portugal we have the non-habitual resident regime. We need to only pay attention some particular situation, which is if you want to renew your card, you should be in the country for more than 6 months consecutive or 8 months interpolated during the validity of the card, which will be 2 years and then 3 years. But to be considered tax resident, you should spend in Portugal more than 6 months, 183 days per year. Of course, if you have a property, a residence, that the authorities can evaluate if will be your permanent residence, they can consider that you are tax resident in Portugal and you don't need to spend here more than 6 months. But we need to pay attention these questions, and this question needs to be analyzed case by case, and for that reason we have our colleagues, experts in tax matters in Lexity, also in Portugal, that can help you with that, of course. Related, if you fulfill these requirements, so if you were considered tax resident in Portugal, which will be the case with digital nomad visa, has to be the case, so you can apply for the non-habitual resident regime. If you are, if your activity, your profession is part of a list of activities according to the law. Usually it related to some management roles or some specific roles as a marketeer, engineer, doctor, and this activity is more specialized and a benefit of the a fixed tax rate of 20% instead of the progressive tax rates. So this is in general terms. We need, as I said before, we need to analyze case by case because it's a kind of situation that we need, in fact, to evaluate before being a resident in a country. And we are here to help you, of course.
Perfect. Thank you, Diana. So maybe you, Maria, want to add something regarding the tax system in Greece?
Yes, I would say that here the things are becoming not so complex regarding taxation.
Oh, sorry, just let me add something because someone was asking me to move the slide to the tax regime in Portugal. Just these are only frequently asked questions. So now we don't have a specific slide for the Portuguese taxation. That was what Diana was explaining now. So Maria can explain us a little bit about the taxation in Greece.
Of course, I would say to keep notes then, because we don't have the card. Regarding taxation here, from the moment that someone is not allowed to work as a digital nomad and provide his services here, he doesn't have to become to be registered as a Greek tax resident and be taxed here for his global income. In case someone wants to rent an apartment, for example, he can obtain, basically we have to assist him because he needs a Greek citizen, and he can obtain a tax ID as foreign that will allow him to rent a car, maybe open a bank account, rent an apartment, and still not have any obligation regarding the taxation. Otherwise, if he wishes, of course, he can declare, be registered as a Greek tax resident, and to be welcomed in our Greek taxation here. I wouldn't recommend that, but it is an option for some people. It doesn't change automatically, and no one has any obligation regarding the taxation if he doesn't apply for that. So it is somehow easy.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much, Maria. I was just checking the facts that we have here. Can I bring my family? We already discussed about this. Here we can also compare about the pathway to the permanent resident and citizenship. In Spain, you can become a permanent resident after residing in Spain for 5 years, and the general rule is that you become a Spanish citizenship after 10 years. Of course, there are some rules about the periods that you have to reside, that you need to stay physically in Spain. The difference is that in Portugal, for example, the citizenship is in 5 years, right, Diana? Right. And in Greece, the difference is that you need to wait 12 years, right, to become a citizen in Greece after obtaining the residence. Right, Maria? That you need to reside 12 years in Greece in order to become a Greek citizen.
I missed
no.
So someone can obtain the Greek citizenship if he will reside in Greece for 12 years, but by staying here, not by having gaps. And of course, he do all these 12 years to have a legal residence permit. Regarding the permanent residence, there is no legal provision at the moment. This is not so clear because it's a nomad, it's a new visa and residence permit, and still the ministry explores how we should deal about that, and if someone could apply after 5 years for long, let's say, residence permit, which allows him to reside for 5 or 10 years without renewing. the digital nomad. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. I have a question for you, Maria. Someone was asking here. Let me check because they were Maria for Greece. Amelie was asking for the application for the digital nomad in Greece for the step 2. Once you have applied for the visa at the consulate, they were asking if you need to go physically to the ministry and with all the documents to present the application for the digital nomad if you have already applied for the visa.
Okay, so if someone wants to apply for the residence permit and which is valid for 2 years, he will authorize us once he will enter in Greece in order to submit the file on his behalf. Basically, this is because the lawyers have a specific platform with the ministry and we can apply. And we will also need some additional documentation. There are some main documents for both steps, consulate and ministry, but because there are different jurisdictions, we have an additional documentations which we have to present in each step. And they saw, and one more question, I think, about the income. Always we are, when we say that we have to prove the income, we don't want any cash. Always everything will be proven by bank statements. And when we have company owners, we need the income of the company at the moment, at least until something.
Okay, and it's good that you're sharing this now because now in Spain, for example, at the beginning they were only requesting invoices for freelancers and payslips for employees, but now for the freelancers and the employees are requesting as well the bank statements in order to see that they match with the invoices and the payslips, right? So that indeed the employee or freelancer is receiving that income. And I take this advantage, Diana, because someone was asking that if you do not match the salary, the minimum salary required in that you were mentioning before, if you can as well present savings or bank statements in order to achieve the minimum amount required, or if you can only present the salary.
Yes, we can only present the salary, correct. And allow me to explain that if you are owner of a company, the authorities, they are not consider this as a active salary. So you need to have a contract employment or be a freelancer and have some service agreement with some companies to prove that you have your active income salary. So they are considering at this moment that we need to prove the active income through a salary, not the owner of a company. So it's important to mention this because the authorities, I think they are not very well adjusted at the reality, but at this moment it's the feedback that we have.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Well, we are we've been here 1 hour already, and I think that we have clarified a lot of questions. I have been going through the questions that we were receiving. Also, there is people asking if they are going to receive our contacts. One person, Siobhan, was asking for Maria's contact. I think that we have here a potential digital nomad for Greece. But yeah, of course, you're going to receive the contact details from us. And also, I wanted to add here, because I have just seen another question, regarding the certificate of coverage. If something is not clear, please text us, email us. You will receive our contact details from Lexity as well, and you will be able to send us any inquiry that you have. and we will be able to clarify anything that has not been clarified here. But in terms of the certificate of coverage, someone was asking if you are obtaining this certificate of coverage, why should we obtain also the private health insurance? So the certificate of coverage only covers you in terms of labor, in terms of the labor part of the social security, and the private health insurance will cover you in terms of the rest of the insurance. That's why in this case you get covered with both documents, or with both resources. You comply with all the coverage of health insurance that is required for Spain. Okay. So in any case, I think that we've been here already more than 1 hour. It's been, of course, a pleasure to all of you. Here you have some details about our company and who we are. We are City Legal Tech Boutique. We are a law firm, legal tech boutique that our main goal is to try to help, apart from digital nomads, all these foreigners that dream and that plan to relocate to our countries. As mentioned, we are settled in, for the moment, 5 different jurisdictions for the moment, and of course here we were discussing, talking about Portugal, Greece, and Spain. But as mentioned, we are also in France and Italy. You will have here in the presentation that we will share, you will see a little bit of the timeline and the development of our company since it was created by our CEO, Federico Richardson. Here you will also be able to check one of our success cases from a digital nomad that obtained his residence permit in Greece. Thank you, Maria, for this success. And here you have our names, and so that you can contact and address your inquiries, and you will receive our contact details. And of course, we have already gone through our Q&A. And we appreciate your attention and your time this afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you for being connected and with us during this webinar. Of course, thank you, Diana and Maria, for your time as well and this preparation. And it's a pleasure, as always, working with you. And we will be waiting for all your context questions, and we'll be waiting to work with whoever wants to move to our amazing countries and to start this amazing adventure of applying for a digital nomad visa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everyone, for your time.